Greeny.
Really? Who cares? They just trying to fit their demographic.
Greeny and Mike Golick still hate each other. Welcome to the According Sources podcast. I'm your host, Andre Williams. We're gonna get right into it because it's 11 o'clock where I am, and Devin is late as always because he's light skinned.
Well, first of all, Rob was later than me, so that doesn't fucking count.
I mean, that's my cousin though, so
I'm basically like your brother. Shit.
Yeah, but he gets a pass. He's been around longer.
That a bitch.
He's been around for 34 years.
That's colorism.
It takes precedence at this point. Sorry.
Colorism, ageism, all that.
There's a whole bunch of isms. We're gonna jump right into it. The Bulls just played the Minnesota Timberwolves, and it's a good game. What did you guys think about that game?
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed seeing Jimmy try so hard and just take an L. Thinking that he was going to come back and get mad love. Like he contributed so much to Chicago.
Like D Rose was.
And not to mention, you could just tell he was trying to play so hard and he just depleted the chemistry between himself and the rest of the Wolves players, trying to do too much. And
you think so?
I think so.
Yeah, I thought he was just trying to win a game, but
you could win the game and run a good basketball play. What was surprising to me was how good of defense Levine played in that game. I didn't know he was. Well, I knew he was somewhat solid on the perimeter. But he impressed me a lot in that game.
Yeah, that game was meaningful to him too, because it was Minnesota. There was a team that he got traded from. So, it meant something to him as well. Yeah. I enjoy watching Jimmy lose too. I am in the same boat as you. I am, everybody knows us. We're not Jimmy fans, so to speak. I think we all, while he was here, we tolerated him. But, I understand that Jimmy is a good basketball player. I don't want anybody to think that, anybody in here thinks otherwise. I just think that the way people look at Jimmy is not the type of player that Jimmy is, man. It's like he is not a top 10, get you to the Western Conference Finals or the Eastern Conference. He's not one of those players. And I don't care what type of talent you put around him. He'll never be one of those guys. Like, because these Bulls bloggers, they have this thing that they do where it's like, well, the Bulls just didn't put enough players around Jimmy. They didn't build around him well enough. I don't think you can build around Jimmy well enough. I don't think it's possible because he's not one of those guys. And that's not like a huge shot at Jimmy because it's only a few of those guys. It's not a lot of those people that are like that. Jimmy just happens to not be one of them. That's fine.
Jimmy's a ball stopper.
What?
The ball stopper. That's exactly what he is. Considering how slow the Bulls played last year, I forgot what.
That's what you mean. I'm sorry. I apologize.
God damn it, Devin.
Offensive pace rating last year, whatever that stat is. And this year, we're like in the top 10, top 15.
The Bulls run this year.
They do what Hoiberg says. They run Hoiberg's offense, and it works.
Amazing how that works.
You get rid of one player, and it just all of a sudden magically starts to work. Nobody on the team is saying, I need to be coached harder. Ironically, all these guys, majority of them are younger than Jimmy. None of them are saying that I need to be coached harder because they realize that they're grown men in a grown man's league and they don't need to be coached harder anymore. Give me a break.
Tell us how you really feel, Devin.
I know, right?
It's bullshit, man. It's like you get out of college and you go to your first job and you looking for like a syllabus on how we're supposed to do things here. This is what we're going to do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Give me a break. Need to be coached harder. Thibodeau, he curses so much that these kids at these guys. Excuse me. Look at me. Jimmy's got me fucking saying it. He curses so much at them that he gets a technical for cursing at his own player. That was the funniest shit I've ever seen.
That was hilarious. All right, good game. I thought, in that game, you saw the best of Zach LaVine and like the worst of Zach LaVine, all in like the last 45 or maybe a minute and a half of that game. He takes a bad shot where nobody touches the ball, and then he goes down like the next play down the court. And this is when I was saying this last year about Fred Hoiberg, man, because I watched the Bulls games, and when they ran his stuff, the stuff was good. They came down the next play down the court, and there was so much action that happened that got Zach LaVine that open three. Fred Hoiberg is a good basketball coach. I was saying last year that we should not rush to judgment when you have a Rondo, and you have, Dwayne Wade and Jimmy Butler, and you got guys that are not going to listen.
Here's the thing about that though, Dre. That works two ways. Like, I don't think anybody ever questioned it.
Oh yes, they did.
Oh yes, they did.
No. Hear me out. As far as his coaching abilities, I think it was more so about him being able to handle.
But tell me, who would have been able to handle
personality?
Who was going to be able to handle that?
I mean, maybe not completely 100% handle it.
A second-year coach. What second-year coach is going to handle that?
I get that.
So
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But there's a lot of other stuff that he come in that didn't have anything to do with that.
But
the way the way he handled the stuff with Joe. That was a part of it.
The way the whole organization handled the stuff with Joe.
But he's a part of it. He's the coach. Like, he's a part of it. Like,
the stuff with Joe. Okay, the stuff with Joe. Joe went to a different team, and the same shit is happening with Joe. Maybe it ain't the other people. Maybe it's Joe, and I love Joe. Maybe it's him. He's fighting with Jeff Hornacek over there. And you're trying to tell me it's the same problem, that Jeff Hornacek is also the problem? The only common denominator is Joe. And I'm not saying Fred Hoiberg is like some great people person, but I'm not using the thing with Joe.
That's my only thing, though. I mean, like, I'm not going to completely, you know what I'm saying, take it out of his hands too, because I mean, he has something to do with it too. I mean, I'm not just gonna say, well, maybe it is Joe. Like, he has something to do with it. Like I mean, you come in, you're hired to be the coach. Like, you're expected to be able to come in and handle the job. Like, you can't bring somebody in and go, well, he's only a first year coach, he's only a second. You know what I'm saying?
But I do think you give them some leeway, and he got none because people expected that team to be something that it was never going to be, and that has nothing to do with him either.
But maybe also take into effect, like, he came in and he was Paxton's dude. So essentially, the front office, Gar Paxton, was controlling everything that was going on with these players. He was just there just to coach, call plays, run it out, develop his new playbook.
Yeah,
Hoiberg, they were essentially kicking people out.
Hoiberg didn't really have any pull with it.
He didn't do himself any favors. At the end of the day, I get what y'all saying, but he didn't do himself any favors with that whole thing.
I don't think that doing himself any favors had anything to do with people giving him a chance to actually be a good basketball coach. That he was never given that opportunity to show that he was a good basketball coach. And the problem that I had with people rush to judgment on him in general was that it was stupid because they had a very seasoned coach, and he couldn't do anything with that goddamn roster either.
Well, that's not really Thibodeau's fault.
But you see how that goes, though? It's not Thibodeau's fault, but somehow it's a rookie head coach's fault.
Thibodeau wore out everything.
That's part of the problem. That team was dead. It was over with. And you expected him to come in and take that team that was over with, go to the playoffs. That team was trashed before he got there. And then you bring old-ass Dwayne Wade.
Rajon Rondo, who's our best player in the playoffs. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, because Jimmy doesn't know how to perform in the playoffs ever. And it's like, well, okay, this is just like Fred Hoiberg can't coach. The whole thing was that he can't coach. He's not a good coach. You got players that's running this stuff. He's making good. His decision making has been. Hey, I have not had a problem with any of his decisions. He's a good coach. The dude, he's a good coach. You just gotta let him. It's bumps and bruises along the way. But the rush to judgment, I think, was a bit much for a guy that he's only been in the league coaching for 3 years. It was a.
Hey, I mean, look, as unfair as that is, that's the way stuff is. Like this is we live in a microwave society. You can't bring in some coach with a team like that and go, well, we're gonna give him some time to, and then not judge him.
Who the hell thought that team was going to be anything besides ridiculous Bulls fans?
The front office did, obviously, because they brought in Rondo with some half-ass rebuild, trying to get into the playoffs instead of knocking down from the.
Let's get to the playoffs and lose in the playoffs again. But even when you get to the playoffs, I mean, you lose the best player playing at the time. I just think that what happened is I believe that Steve Kerr has tilted the entire thing because he came in and did what he did. Like everybody just expected that's just the way things go, and that's not the way this goes. It takes time. A dude has to get players in that can run the stuff that he wants to run, players that are going to actually listen to what he's coaching them to do. Like this is Steve Kerr came into a ready-made situation. This Bull team was not that.
So you're saying that Mark Jackson basically could have won the championship, right?
No, is that what you're saying, Dre?
Because Mark Jackson is a terrible coach. See, unlike Fred Hoiberg, Mark Jackson is a terrible coach. The coach that played Draymond Green 14 minutes a game.
Best player on the Warriors.
I mean, now here you go with this shit, yo.
And that Klay Thompson actually playing the ball.
Here you go. Yeah, we want Klay Thompson out there running offense because, he's a stalwart at dribbling the ball. So, yeah.
The crazy thing about the whole Hoiberg situation and how he came into what he came into is the fact that Garpax basically threw him in the fire and just let him burn that entire season.
A lot of it was their fault.
Not once did they ever come down from the ivory tower and display some type of confidence in their head coach. They let that man fry the entire season.
I think they could have gotten Jesus to coach. But after Thibs was there, Bulls fans were just obsessed with the idea of Tom Thibodeau for some odd reason. When it was very clear that it was his time to go, but they were just obsessed with the idea of Tom Thibodeau. And, for better for worse, I think that hurt Fred Hoiberg in the first 2 years. I think now people are saying, you give them guys that are, young guys and let them coach. He's a good guy to coach young players up. But maybe as he gets older and he gets some more cachet behind his name, when you have a guy like Steve Kerr consistently coming out and saying, I'll take a bunch of his stuff, maybe as he gets older, 4, 5, 6 years into the league, when these guys are older, then you'll see maybe if he goes to another team that has established stars, they'll actually listen to him. But
that's probably what's going to happen. That's probably what's exactly going to happen. Garpax are going to wear him down, not give him enough. He's going to go to another team. Voila, he wins the championship. That's our luck. Yeah. And then you have Bulls bloggers, quote unquote, who are still living in this. The best thing we ever had was Tom Thibodeau era, or this facade that like we can somehow get that back and build that back. We don't want that. That's a problem. That's why it's one writer that I don't like. I think his name is Sam Smith for the Bulls.
Nobody likes Sam Smith.
He's deranged. Okay, he's fucking nuts. Doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
I take back what I said. It's not that nobody likes Sam Smith. Everybody just knows he's crazy. Sam Smith.
That's too hard to be funny.
Old.
Short white guy, white hair, white mustache.
Yeah. Talk about some shit that happened when he watched Jerry Sloan play in every article. Man, don't nobody want to hear that shit.
You don't want to hear about Jerry Sloan and Norm Van Lier?
No.
Quick fact about the Tom Thibodeau
Nigga, fantasy football has been over for months.
Y'all know there's 3 players from the Timberwolves in the top 15 in minutes this season.
It was more than that.
Shocker.
Last year, it was like their entire starting lineup or something. It was ridiculous. Like 5 players because Tom Thibodeau is a fucking maniac.
Crazy. Jimmy's at 38.7. Wiggins is at 37.3. Towns is at 36.2. Like
all of them gonna bust their knees up in the next year or two.
All of them. Honestly, especially Cat, because he's so big and he has him running up and down the floor, and he's young and athletic, and can run the floor like a damn horse. It's gonna happen. Not wishing bad upon him, but I'm just saying.
Since we're talking about busted knees, Zach LaVine.
What?
Zach LaVine. What do you guys? I mean, he's coming back from torn ACL. Looks.
Wait a minute.
Good.
Who did you say?
Zach LaVine.
Oh,
because Tom Thibodeau, busted him up real good, real early.
Listen, man.
Got him early.
This shit this shit tonight was incredible. Got the steal on the inbounds, picked it off, go dunk the ball, go up by 2, then they win by, 4 or something like that. He's 4. Incredible.
He's really good. And I was thinking about this too. I think the Timberwolves made a mistake in trading him and not trading Andrew Wiggins, because Jimmy Butler makes Andrew Wiggins obsolete for the most part.
Yeah.
On that team.
Until the Wiggins can't shoot.
They're redundant as basketball players. It's like it doesn't make any sense to have both of them there because they essentially occupy the same places and do the same things. And Jimmy does them better. And they need shooting, and that's where Zach would have really helped them. So if I was them, I know they're probably looking back on it now. I was like, shit, this we shouldn't have traded him, but now
Well, they got a fucking pick out of the deal, an unnecessary one. So there's that. I'll never get over that. That was so stupid. Like, we should have took Wiggins and or LaVine and done, and that was it. Don't give them extra. This isn't a 2-for-1 special. And now,
the funny thing is, people still think that there are Bulls fans that were mad that we lost to Jimmy. I don't give a fuck about losing Jimmy.
Nobody give a hell about him. With his corny ass.
He wasn't going anywhere with Jimmy, man. I just don't understand why people don't get that.
It goes back to Dre's point, Rob. You're not going to win with him alone. You can't build around dude. That's why I don't get why so many of these Bulls fans, forgive me, Chris, but a lot of these motherfuckers are Chris's age, don't know shit about shit. And when they have this beloved passion for Jimmy.
But you know what? It's not just people.
I know it's not just him.
It's a lot of. It's like Bulls bloggers have a hard on for Jimmy. It's really weird, yo.
Tib shit.
That's Robbie took the words out of my mouth. Both of them. It's a combination of Tibbs and Jimmy. They loved him. They're infatuated with them.
You know what it is more than anything, though? It's infatuation with the fact that they just can't let go of the glory days. Of those 62 and 20 seasons.
But I mean, look, those were not. Those were great times. Those were great times. But we lost.
Exactly. And because it was so great,
we lost Derrick Rose. We lost Derrick Rose because of the way those teams were playing. The brand of basketball that they played effectively ended any hopes we had of winning anything for an extended period of time. I understand we all love, it was a fun time, but that shit's over, man. You don't win in the NBA like that. You don't win in the NBA with guys playing 40 minutes a game. You don't win in the NBA with not taking threes. It's like this is ridiculous. We have to change our philosophy. This shit's over with. It's over and dead. Let it go.
We would have beat the shit out of Dallas, so I tell you that.
Yeah, I think we
4-1.
Speaking of threes, Bobby Portis was 3 for 6 from the 3-point line tonight. Just saying.
I don't want Bobby Portis taking 6 goddamn 3-pointers a game. He was 1 for 5 the game before that. So don't hit me with no goddamn stats about what the hell Bobby Portis was doing.
Hey,
out here
hey,
niggas.
I was at the Brooklyn Nets game the other night, and when Nico was running on the baseline, I kept screaming, "Bobby Portis!"
Are you looking at you? This fucking light skinned dude.
Oh God, he came through the tunnel, and there was a bunch of people that was asking him for autographs, and I was let me make sure I say my words correctly. I was with my homie, who is of a particular religious faith. Anyways, so he walks past. He looks at all of us, and my boy's like, "Yeah, you want Nico's autograph?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm good." And he still comes by me. He's trying to take my marker, and I'm like, "Nah, yo, I'm good."
Yeah, you signed my jersey, whack body Nico.
Post.
Can you look at the camera and say A2S, please? Thank you. Oh, he's so corny, man. But Bobby Portis, with each game he loses elevation. But
I mean, he never had any to begin with. So.
Leo's my man, bro. My dude.
He got that Baylor jump shot.
Man, I'm just saying, when the Bulls are finally good again, Bobby Portis will not be on the team.
He has a role, okay? He has a role.
Yeah, what is up with you and Bobby Portis, man?
What's a trade piece for
he got a role on another team.
Better player. That's his role.
DeJuan Blair didn't have no ACLs. Yeah, he could jump higher than Bobby
you
Portis.
You have a passion for defending Bobby Portis. It's quite hilarious.
Because I feel like he can go places.
Yeah, the fuck out of Chicago. He can go clean the fuck up out of Chicago.
Take his ass on somewhere.
Like the Bobby Portis train, I was a big fan of Bobby at one point. I wrote about him, and all of that. And then I realized that he's just a very I don't like power forwards that can't jump. Like I have a problem with that.
He plays like a center.
Yeah. He's not athletic. I don't like guys that are unathletic at that position.
He's pretty tall not to be able to jump like above the rim, though. I ain't gonna lie.
But he can't, though.
I mean, what is he, 6'11"?
He's like 6'10", 6'11", man, and he doesn't really... I mean, he gets this shit smashed, like, way more often than he probably should to be as tall as he is. It's really an awkward thing there. But, hey, man,
that's probably why he stole off Nico's ass. He probably said something like, "How you that big and you can't jump?" Whack him.
It was like everything he said was right. You can't jump. We're going to stay on the Eastern Conference. The Cleveland Cavaliers are a completely different team.
Them niggas drunk
than they were. I mean, no. Me and Chris were talking about it before you jumped on. I mean, obviously the team is better. They are better. They're younger. They probably have better shooting across the board now because they got rid of Derrick Rose and Dwayne Wade. I mean, I think just getting rid of them too
is just basically
about subtraction. But I mean,
a couple of pieces of dead weight on your bench.
That was a bunch of bullshit. Should have kept Derrick.
Nah, man, I love Derrick, man, but it's done, man.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
You
don't want to fucking hear it.
And there's few times that Derrick was running a second unit. I mean, he was showing some flashes of being able.
Yeah, but it's always just going to be flashes. It's nothing that can be sustained with Derrick Rose anymore. And we all
change the subject.
We love him, but I mean,
I don't want to fucking talk about it anymore. I heard you say that.
This shit is over.
You know what? You guys are fucking negative enablers.
No, so when it happens, I want everyone to be prepared for it.
That nigga won a ring.
It's coming soon. The end of his career is coming sooner than we all thought that it was going to come. Because
he hasn't
pay him money.
He hasn't gotten picked up yet. I think this is over.
Oh, dude, he cleared waivers today, and it broke my heart.
That's because
I think Washington is going to try to get him, and I think
San Antonio.
Minnesota, saying like a couple teams.
I mean, you gotta be fucking shitting me if he even thinks about going anywhere near Minnesota.
Somebody was like, Thibodeau is coming back. to finish off to finally finish him off.
Finish the job. Give me your knees.
Like a horror movie sequel.
Oh, God, Tom Thibodeau, man.
Like, there's no way. Like, if I'm in this circle, man, I'm like, bruh, no. Nigga, we going to China before we go to fucking Minnesota. Like,
I'm just saying, there are teams that are looking at him, but to our point, his career is over though, man. Like, it's effectively over, you know.
Yeah,
it's sad. Man. Because
I knew it was over when he went to Cleveland. Cause I was like, ain't no way in the world this man, if he was fully healthy, would he ever team up with LeBron of all people?
Well, him and LeBron are boys. I know that.
No, they're not. No.
Okay. They definitely do train together in LA.
Train what?
Train with a lot of people. You know.
I don't think that they're not boys though. I don't think that they're like I don't look at them like
apparently somebody wrote some story about this, that there was some like they hadn't talked. Like they didn't talk for years.
That sounds about right though. Derek don't talk to no fucking
Derek
body.
don't talk to no fucking body. They said that Russell Westbrook
that's a part of his fucking problem.
Russell Westbrook was trying to keep a relationship with him, but he was just like he doesn't really.
That's his, that's Derek. That's a big part of Derek's problem. We all know his knee issues and all of that, but Derek has some emotional issues, man.
He's from Chicago.
Fuck that. I know I'm from Chicago. I ain't that fucking introverted, man. Like at some point, you gotta open up to some people and like, act like
we weren't raised like him though.
Act like you want to be around.
He was raised like that, though. They wouldn't. He was never around anybody. That was part of the problem.
That is true. He was really isolated.
Man, listen. At some point, you got to come to a realization that you know what, I in order for shit to work, I need to be this way. I need to change my way of doing shit.
I think emotional problems are easier to say how to fix them than it actually is to fix them.
I get that.
That is true.
I get that.
And,
I mean, considering where he came from and what he's seen, like forget basketball, just the environment that he grew up in, like I'm sure that still plays a toll mentally on him, even though he's grown.
And you know, the injuries in general, as in just a period. The injuries and having to rehab and having to go through all that stuff and it's probably
I'll put more into that than I will into what he's seen and what he's had to grow up around.
Yeah, I don't think it's the growing up thing. It's just
I don't either. He seen
isolated him.
He ain't seen no more or any less than I did growing up. Come from the same parts. I can understand he didn't grow up like his father or whatever, but like. I won't give him that. I'll give it more like Dre said, the injuries and stuff, and that stuff just not having the kind of attitude like, man, I'm gonna come back from this and it's gonna be good. I'm gonna do my thing.
I think he had that attitude.
And he lost it, but he lost it after he got injured again, though.
I do think that a lot of it is just the way that he was brought up. That his family did not like. Derek was not going to be that dude that was just going to be around a whole bunch of people, and he never was, and that was just the way that it was. Derek is not around a whole bunch of people. Derek is around us, and that's just it. And he never really got out of it. And
never.
That was his problem. It probably still is his problem. But we were talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're a better team. Are they good enough to win more than one game against the Warriors or 2 games against the Rockets?
Are you asking?
Are you asking?
Yeah, that's the question. Are they good enough to win more than one against the Warriors?
I don't see why not. Any team with LeBron on it is good for at least one game.
I said more than one against the Warriors and more than 2 games against the Rockets.
I got to see more of them before I'm ready to say that. This is one game. It's an emotional game. LeBron wanted to kill Boston because it was Paul's night and all of that. And he also wanted to kill them. You also add the fact that Kyrie is there. It says he wanted to come out and make a statement. So I mean, this is one game. These are obviously better guys on the team than he had before. He got better shooters, better defenders first of all, and then guys that at least right now for this one game, act like they want to be there.
I think
Well,
go ahead, Chris.
When you replace, like 330-year-olds with stomachs full of ribs playing basketball, you're gonna be better. You got 4 young dudes. Well, George Hill's 31. That's still kind of young. You replace them. You got longer. You got better, a little bit better on defense, but the team defense still sucks ass. I mean,
that's still going to be their biggest problem. Their biggest problem is still going to be. I think
like,
they don't have anybody that can protect the paint. That's still their. I mean, that was their Achilles heel last year. I mean, besides guys that wasn't really good on the perimeter, but they still don't have anybody that can protect the paint.
They got Tristan Thompson.
Yeah, like I said, they don't have anybody that can protect the paint. I was telling Chris, those first couple weeks with the older guys looked really, really good. And then, I mean, it looked good until it didn't anymore. So, like, I'm with Rob. I think everybody's going crazy. I'm seeing people, oh, this team is going to sweep Golden State and all this other nonsense. Then
I didn't see that.
There's a whole bunch of crazy stuff on Twitter.
Quit Twitter for shit.
I didn't see that. You're crazy if you don't think this is a better team. I mean, they got much better in just about every, like y'all said, in every facet of the game. Defensively, they got a point guard that's an actual point guard now.
Great shooting.
And they got much better shooting, and they got better defensively. So this is a better team. I'll have to see more.
I have to see more of it, and I also think that they got better. They got better.
They got better. They got better in the locker room too
on defense. And their biggest issue.
Not younger dudes that'll listen to LeBron. That and people that will go and challenge him.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much how that's how he wins, though. Like I said, it's mostly just, versatile guys that can shoot. That's that's usually how he wins. It's not with, guys that are superstar people. I mean, I know he did it with Dwayne Wade, but at that point, Dwayne Wade, acquiesced to LeBron. And that's when they won. When it was like me and Dwayne Wade, they didn't win because that's not how LeBron wins. And it probably will never be that way because his talent overrides or overshadows everybody else's talent for the most part. This is how it goes. Yeah, but they're better. Good to see how better it is. I think right now what you're looking at with the Warriors is that they're just,
they're on autopilot.
Yeah,
they're on autopilot. There's
of this thing, man. People are
not to mention it's a lot of basketball. So they've played a lot of basketball, man. When you go to the finals all them times, man, with this, and it's not like it's a different squad where it's like they can bring.
It's like the Bulls, it's like the '98 Bulls.
Where they brought in fresh faces, and it's like, all right, we're a little more energized because we got this dude in here now. We can do this. It's the same group, and they're just tired. They're tired. So when I see them losing, it's like that's a tired group right there.
They at some point. You just like you're done with the regular season. Fuck the regular season. I don't I can't get up like all these teams. Like I understand how good the Rockets are. The Rockets are really, really good, but they're getting up for the regular season games, and I just don't think the Warriors can be bothered to do that.
It does kind of concern me though when the Warriors don't get up for certain games though.
I understand, but they
I mean, I won't give them a pass on not getting up for certain games. They didn't get up for that OKC game for whatever reason.
Because I remember when the Bulls in '98 in those games when they played the Pacers like in a regular season. I think the Bulls may have beat them twice in the regular season. But it was 2 games where Indiana just beat the shit out of Chicago. It's like, yeah, they're up for this, and the Bulls are kind of just like, yeah, I understand who we're playing, but it just feels like that to me. It's year 4. Like you said, these guys it's the same group of guys. They just cannot. They just cannot. We would want them to, but they just can't. It's hard. Like it's a difficult thing to do, even for KD, like KD has been, doing this, deep playoff runs. Even if he hasn't, won a championship every time, it's been deep playoff runs for years for him. It's like, okay, then you go into the deep in the playoffs, you win a championship. It's like, how can I continue to get up through these regular season games? A team that won 70 plus games in a season. It's very difficult. I understand it, even though I would wish that they would, play better against, you know, OKC and Houston. I would wish they'd play better, but I can completely understand how they didn't.
And when the Warriors lose games like this, I love when people overreact with the whole Golden State's met their match and stuff. Especially like, I'm not gonna name names, but on Twitter and just in the sports world in general, it's like it's the regular season.
It's as regular as it's
don't matter.
This is as regular as it's gonna get, man. I think they'll be ready come June, whenever play. Whenever, I don't know. I know that everything started a little bit late this year, so whenever the playoffs start this year, I think this team will be prepared for whatever and whoever. Steve Kerr had actually talked about it. People were asking him like, "How do you get your team prepared?" Because he played for the Chicago Bulls. He was there for those championships. He saw all of that. Like, how did he's like, man? One of the things is like just not to get too up or too down because it's a long season. We've been through this grind. No need to really, go either way on any of this. It'll all play itself out. They know what to do. But we kind of skipped over one thing I did want to talk about. Isaiah Thomas.
Clown.
Huh? What you talk, clown? He has anybody done more to lose money?
Man.
Clown.
Where that Brink truck at?
That dude has had a whole lot of clownish behavior in the last few weeks.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you can't blame him.
You can't blame him for what?
You can't blame Isaiah Thomas for what's happened, considering this man came off a hip surgery. He only played 15 games.
Why can't I blame him?
The Cavs were expecting him to go back to that 29-point score per game. That wasn't going to happen.
I
don't think they were. I think they were expecting him to come in and shut up.
I do think they expected him to come in and shut up. One thing I do blame the Cavaliers because I don't think, and maybe it's not the Cavaliers so much as their guy that's their coach. He's just not a good coach. He's not a good coach. Yeah, Lou isn't a good coach either.
That nigga sucks. Christ.
But like the things that Isaiah Thomas was good at doing were things that they just never ever did for him. This is like none of the things that made him good in Boston ever took place in Cleveland. This is like one-on-one basketball. They tried to treat him like he was Kyrie Irving, and he's not Kyrie Irving. You know what I'm saying? So the one-on-one plays and shit, like that's just not his game. It wasn't going to work. He was more pick and roll, coming off screens, getting in open space, and then attacking.
The problem with that, though, who the hell are you going to pick and roll with?
I mean, you have to find somebody, even if it's LeBron. Look, even if it's LeBron.
You can roll with LeBron? Well, under what circumstance?
The same ones with Kyrie and LeBron did it. They did it a lot last year. They did it a lot.
I don't recall them doing a whole lot of pick and roll.
They would do it a lot, especially in late game situations. But even if you're doing it just to get the guy comfortable, you should do it. Now that doesn't excuse him for opening his mouth and talking as much as he did, but they didn't do themselves or him any service by the way that they attempted to use him. And that's a coaching thing. That's nothing more with anybody besides the coaching. But they didn't do a really good job of helping him get, comfortable within the scheme of their offense. And it was a lot of times I saw a couple plays where like he'd get the ball and run up the court, and LeBron wouldn't even come past half court. It was like, man, as I saw that shit a couple times, like this shit's over. This is over. This experiment is dead. But he's lost himself a crap ton of money. He went from being the story of the playoffs to being the most hated man in sports. I mean, What do you think about Isaiah Thomas and the way that he's conducted himself? Let's like outside of the basketball play, Chris, just the way that he conducted himself within the locker room and on that team.
Well, he has a big mouth, and I'm sure we all knew that already. But
I didn't.
when you go to Cleveland, you can't do that.
I
didn't know that kid had a big mouth at all.
It's funny. Darrell, my brother Darrell hated him in Boston, which was it was weird. He said, "Yeah, I never liked him."
I didn't know that kid had a big mouth at all. I had no clue.
Man, he was
until I saw some of the stuff he was saying when he got in Cleveland when they started losing games. Like there's a boatload of ways you could address the media and say what you want to say without coming off like a little jerk. And
yeah,
you know,
like,
and don't
like something.
Well,
that adversity
true.
comment was one that was like,
because he's short, because he's a small guy. No, but continue.
Like that was,
because he's small.
Adversity comment is the one. I remember Rob said something about it in the third. I can't remember what it was, but it was like adversity. You only played like 15 games. Who are you the one to criticize a coach? Like, yeah, he sucks, but who are you to say he sucks?
You can't come in and criticize shit. We've been to the finals. We've been to the finals without you. So don't come in here telling us what we need to do and what what's not happening. All you need to do is say, yeah, you know what, we got to play better as a team. But we'll get it figured out. Just positive. We don't need you talking, calling people out in the media. That's not gonna help us. We got
I don't know why
we got every camera in the NBA landscape. Every camera, every microphone is on us whenever we play. If we play and we lose, everybody's talking about it. So we don't need you to glorify it and make it even worse by saying something idiotic, by talking about what we need to do.
Everybody could see that whatever was going on wasn't working. He just should have been able to keep it more under wraps. I'm figuring at some point we're going to hear about everything that went on with that team.
Yeah, because he gonna say it. He gonna say it.
We're gonna hear about all of that.
Because he gonna say it. Because he can't keep his mouth shut. He gonna say it. And hopefully his agent has told him, like, you just need to shut up at this point.
Yeah, be quiet at this point. Then when you get your
but you know what? The more I think about it, the agent ain't making it no better because the minute you get traded, you got the agent calling a TV show host while they're on TV or texting them and letting them go, hey, check this out. All that stuff y'all talking about, he ain't coming off no bench. My man's is starting. Whoa. So both of y'all niggas got big mouths.
Yeah, it wasn't the best.
5'9". That's why.
There's a way you handle stuff, man, especially when you got no clout. Like, you can't come into this locker room and you got no clout in this locker room at all. You play with LeBron. Okay, so this is LeBron's locker room. Simple and plain.
That's not the way he saw it. He saw that was him and LeBron's locker room. Because the first thing he said,
that was his first problem.
He was LeBron's. He was the second in command on that team, not Kevin Love, who is obviously a better basketball player than him,
and who has a ring on his finger too. Not to mention.
Yeah, he definitely.
So he's won a ring with this team, doing whatever it is that they do. He's been a part of that. You came in with your busted hip and couldn't even play for the first few months of the season. Well, now you want to tell me what I need to be doing? Nah.
And I think people forget when they had that whole players only meeting and reports slipping out to the media because players had big ass mouths.
God, that shit pisses me off, man. How the fuck do we got a team only meeting and the whole world know about what was said in the meeting?
Everything.
What's the whole point of the meeting? We should have just had a press conference and just put cameras in it.
That he was talking shit to Kevin Love. I wonder who did that.
Somebody that was pissed off that he was talking shit to Kevin Love. Somebody that was like, wait, what's that mean? What's that new Dave Chappelle meme everybody's using? Word?
I would love to know the thought process for him to address
a world champion.
I mean, not to address it, bro. I mean, you know, you can say whatever the fuck you want to say, world champion or not. But like, you knew, like, you're a new booty. You know what I'm saying? You gotta.
That's the part that keeps getting me. Like you just got here.
You a new booty.
Fall back. When they had that team meeting, how many games did he have played at that point?
2,
3, 4.
I don't know. I'm just doing number out there. I actually had no idea. But yeah, your point is still, the point still remains the same. That he's not the person that should be opening his mouth to say anything about anybody ever.
Like you know what? Like when we was playing without you, to be real, we was doing a lot better with this thing before you got here. Just being real. If you want to keep it a buck.
You're lucky nobody short stuffed his little ass in the garbage can.
Well, I think this move, it was the best move for everybody involved. I mean, he went to LA and immediately had a pretty good goddamn game, and he looked more comfortable. First play of the game, they got him in some,
That 7 turnovers.
Yeah, but I mean, he's still getting to the swing of things. But offensively, he looked like an NBA basketball player again. I think that's the most important part.
He got his powers back, Dre.
Yeah, that's what he said. Some corny shit. But
never see what I'm saying? See, it don't stop. It don't stop.
It doesn't.
You got traded. You got traded away.
He had his first real practice of the season too.
See
so
what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? That's the kind of shit.
All those things aside, he looked like he resembled the player that he was before.
You know what? The same thing applies to him as it does to the Cavs. I'll wait.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta wait.
You playing off adrenaline. You playing off adrenaline. The new team you're going to is kind of excited that you're around. They got another all-star or whatever, all-star caliber player or whatever the case is. Here, you know what? Let's do this for him and get him the ball or whatever the case is.
Yeah,
so I'll wait.
Some plays to him and giving him some plays. I think they were taking some plays that he actually had back in Boston and implemented them for him, got him open a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. So a lot of it, I'll wait because you also don't have their first round pick playing either.
From what I hear, if LiAngelo and Jello ain't on the Lakers, he ain't gonna be playing. But we're gonna start wrapping this up, and we didn't get to do a podcast right after the Super Bowl.
Oh shit, we talking football.
But I must say, that was a damn. I didn't watch the first half of the Super Bowl because I was at my house, and quite obviously I don't watch football. But we went over to a Super Bowl party because we kind of had to. So obviously they were watching the Super Bowl, so I watched the second half. That was a damn good second half. It was made even better by the fact that Brady lost. You guys talk about the Super Bowl. How were your feelings in that Super Bowl?
Nigga, I celebrated like none other on that strip fumble because I called that shit. I was watching it and I'm like, on this drive right here, this is what they need. I was talking to my brother-in-law and he's like, but they ain't been getting to them all game. I'm like, but I feel like this drive right here, if they don't get a strip fumble, this game is over with for the Eagles.
If they didn't get that goddamn turnover, they were going to lose that game. That's how every Brady. They was
going to drive down, and they was going to put points on the board, and then they was going to stop the Eagles right after that.
Yeah, that's how they all
go. Been over with. That's how they go. And I was ecstatic to watch Brady get stripped, and then for that ball to come out.
I was glad that it was him.
Oh yeah.
Not I didn't want the running back to fumble. Or there to be like some mistake on the handoff for the snap or anything like that.
And you know what? And when you mention that, Dre, now that you mention that, nobody's fucking talked about it.
No, of course not. He's Brady.
Nobody said a goddamn peep that Brady basically blew the game. Anybody else fumbles a ball and gets it stripped, they blew the game.
I mean, they
didn't step up. They didn't step up in the pocket. They didn't do this, didn't do that. They lost the game for him. It was, he got stripped from him. He got sacked.
Devin's not here, so I can say that Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time. As much as I want to.
I also enjoy watching that fucking ball fly through his fingertips on that feeble ass catch tip. That shit was funny as hell.
He looked extra unathletic on that play.
He's wide the fuck open.
He's reaching with it like every fiber of his being. He still couldn't catch that.
That goddamn Fred Herman run that he was doing. Run through the ball, nigga.
Yeah, I think it was a damn good Super Bowl from what I was able to see, and I think it had like the team that won, like that team is such a fun team. So it was cool to watch them win. It was also cool to watch Philadelphia just completely fuck up Philadelphia. That was man, they fucked that place up.
I tell you what, boy, Philadelphians are upset that's the storyline. It's like, why the fuck y'all upset at us, man? All we doing is reporting the news. Y'all the ones fucking this shit up. Like, don't get mad at us because we watching y'all people eat dog shit or horse shit and fuck up the Ritz-Carlton. Like we not doing that shit, y'all are.
You sound like Martin. You smell like that's you.
I ain't been nowhere all day.
I ain't been nowhere all day. That's you.
That shit climbing those poles and shit. That's you.
I mean, somebody actually hit me up and told me about the eating shit thing, and I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? Really? You're eating poop? This is what happens when you win a championship. I think that's the exact opposite of what the loser eats shit, not the winner.
Eat shit, loser.
Exactly. The winner does not eat shit. But I guess
these motherfuckers were literally eating shit.
Crazy.
Thank God I didn't see the video of it because I don't know if I could take it.
No, I didn't even actually see it. Someone told me, and I'm like, what? The winners ate shit?
You're not fucking winners at all.
You're a fucking loser. Like, you actually lost, bro. You were eating shit. Yeah, man. I don't know. The Super Bowl was good. I was glad that Brady lost. I was glad that Brady was the reason why his team lost. Like, those things mean something to me. It means a lot.
Fucking fantastic, man. It was great. I celebrate that shit like that was my own team.
It does not change what I think. I still say Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. I still say it.
You can at this point, you're crazy if you question that shit. Like I can't stand Brady as much as the next Boston hating Devin as much as possible.
That last championship was what sealed it for me. Yeah, all right, man. Like, he got 5. Like, I understand, people don't say, it's not just about championships, but it kind of is.
I mean, that's what this whole thing is about.
It's kind of about championships. I understand the thought process there, that we don't want to just sit around and say, well, this guy is great because of championships. But, this is like I tell people, when you start parsing the greatest of all times, I don't give a fuck what your career, like, you could have scored 1,000,000 points in your carear. 1,000,000 goddamn points.
Kareem.
If you don't have any, no. Kareem got 5 goddamn championships, 6 championships, if I'm not mistaken. Once you start, more apt would be Wilt. When you start parsing the greatest of all time, like, championships have to come into play. So, he has 5. He has damn near all of the records, and if he doesn't have them, Peyton has them, and Peyton only has 2.
I just think the one thing that people just kind of get annoyed with, especially me, just when it comes to Brady, just the breaks that he always seems to get, and I was just waiting for that shit to happen in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
it was like, all right, this shit's gonna happen. It's gonna be some garbage, and honestly, until that ball hit the ground and I saw no flags, man, I thought it was about to happen again.
I kept telling my wife, because she was like, they're gonna lose. I'm like, you don't watch enough football to know what the hell you're talking about. These are the Patriots that we're talking about. God could come down from out the sky and, like, give them a touchdown. We don't know what could happen with the Patriots. Anything is possible
real quick, because, and then, I haven't seen the whole thing, but apparently, I don't know if it was I seen a clip of I guess Hogan kind of getting hit going down the field. I don't know if that's the play that people are talking about, but on that play, they said that somebody got hit pretty hard, and they could have threw a flag on that shit. I don't know if the play I saw the other day Hogan got kind of knocked off his route, and I want to say he was at least 20 yards down the field. I don't know if that's the one people are referencing, saying that somebody got, hit and they could have threw a flag on. But it was like, man,
Yeah,
I'm shocked that they didn't throw a flag on it. I'm glad that they didn't, because that would have been whack. It's like, bro, don't bail these dudes out on a final play.
I kept telling my wife, anything is possible with this team. Let's just wait until
the damn clock says 0-0-0.
I want to see them quad zeros up there. Then we can say that the Patriots are done.
There's no yellow laundry on the field. Then we can say, all right, these dudes won. And then, you know, another thing about the Super Bowl that kind of pissed me off, and I didn't really realize it. I guess in the back of my head I did while watching it, but just the next day, people was talking about Al Michaels and Collinsworth. Their call was so biased.
Yeah, they were bad.
It was so biased towards Boston. You could tell that these dudes had money on Boston. It was so annoying.
It was
like, dude, even though like the last call, like I got more excited over that strip fumble. I got up yelling and screaming like it was the Bears over the strip fumble. But the last play of the game, like you would have thought that was like the end of the first quarter. Al Michaels said nothing. And that's the game. It's like, dude, what? That's the end of the Super Bowl. Like, you supposed to, like, as an announcer, you're supposed to have like a legendary call at the end of any championship game. If anybody knows that, it's Mr. Do you believe in miracles, Al Michaels?
Boy, he lost 100,000 on that. What you talking about?
Exactly.
You about to celebrate because you want Brady to lose?
Yes.
Al Michaels' ass ain't going, boy.
Y'all still trying to do
well? You know he good for sports gambling.
All right, let's wrap this up. We're gonna get to the segment. Chris, why are you mad?
You wanna know why I'm mad, man?
Oh boy.
So apparently, when the Thunder were playing the Lakers the other day, Lakers fans were chanting, "We want Paul," or something like that. You know, Lakers fans always have aspirations of getting a star player. Yet they haven't finished above the 8th seed in 6 years, and they haven't won more than 40 games in almost 7 years.
Kobe.
Yet they always think they finna get the best player. They really think they finna get Paul George and LeBron next year. They can keep dreaming. Nobody wants to go play for a team in the West and have to worry about the Warriors.
Shots at Baylor. Rob.
The Lakers suck. They ain't winning shit.
Why Rob, why are you mad?
Let me think. Why am I mad? What can I be mad about? There's a whole lot of shit to be mad about.
Yeah, you black man. I'm something to be mad
about. Let me think. You go, Dre. Give me a second.
I am mad that Chicago Bulls bloggers are still sucking off Jimmy Butler. If you just looked at like a Bulls blogger's Twitter handle and just go through their timeline, you would actually think they're Minnesota Timberwolves bloggers and not actual Bulls bloggers, because they're all fawning over Jimmy Butler like every night. Jimmy, he scored 30 points 3 straight times for the first time in his career. Oh, Jimmy, you fucking clowns. Look, he plays for Minnesota now. He is no longer a Chicago Bull. I understand that Jimmy Butler is a good basketball player, but he is no different than any other good basketball player in the NBA, except that he's not in the upper echelon of great basketball players in the NBA. Fuck Jimmy Butler. This is Chicago Bulls, Zach LaVine, marketing. Those are the people that we should be spending most of our time talking about. But most of the time, all I hear, well, Chris is still, he got them braces. He ain't playing for a while. But all I read from these bloggers is shit about how Jimmy Butler is doing this and Karl Towns is doing that. If you want to be a Minnesota Timberwolves blogger, change your fucking handle to D1. Otherwise, start talking about the goddamn Chicago Bulls. Motherfuckers are annoying. Got something now, Rob?
So I'll go off something that I was kind of arguing with somebody about the other day. This goes back to Bulls bloggers, but it was more so I was arguing with some Bulls blogger just the other day when the Bulls beat Minnesota, matter of fact. And this blogger was, I mean, he's highly upset. He hangs off every single Bulls win,
Oh my
and just
God.
and he flies off the deep end. And me and him argue back and forth because he commented under Sylvie's post about the Bulls winning, about how guard packs is are idiots. Which I mean, it's kind of hard to.
Yeah.
I felt bad for arguing it sort of against that point. It's like, all right, well, yeah, they are, but I get why everybody wanted this. This is our Super Bowl at this point. They wanted this game. It's okay for them to win that game. But no,
It is
this
okay.
is this is messing up their draft status, and these guys are idiots, and they should have traded. They should have traded Holiday and fuck is the goofball center. Jesus
Robin
Christ.
Lopez.
Yeah,
Lopez. Just like, I mean, so I mean, is that what you're hanging this season on? Is that really what's going sell you on the Bulls getting a higher pick? Is that they don't have Robin Lopez and fucking Justin Holiday? Like that's what's that's what's upsetting you. Like don't hang off every single win that the potential win or win the Bulls may get. Like they'll get whatever pick they get. I'm not gonna cry after they won a night. It's like, all right, they won. It's like, I mean, okay, like
they're not gonna lose every game.
It's not gonna happen, man. Like relax. Like he's like bubbling over after every time they win, and he's just going nuts. It's just like, dude, calm down, man.
And Rob, you say that it's not just a few; it's a lot of people that do that. A lot of people.
Yes, every Bulls blogger, they all do it. Every last one of them. They get on Twitter after a win.
We need to be playing like playing the popcorn guy needs to be playing guard or whatever. It's just like
they're gonna play the dudes they got, man, and they're gonna get whoever they're gonna get, and they're gonna be fine. You have to let it go. It's gonna play out however it plays out, regardless if you're upset about it or not.
They'll have two good picks. Like I think they'll figure it out.
And if they want to, they could package those two picks and get a better one.
Exactly.
Honestly.
If they have to. So, I think the moral of the last two, why you mad, take the stick out your ass and calm down. it'll be okay. I mean, one way or another, something's gonna happen, and just calm the hell down, Bulls bloggers or Minnesota bloggers or whoever the hell y'all are.
Y'all know how I tweet. Y'all know how I tweet the Bull stats from games when they play, like when it's over and shit. So this one dude quotes one of my tweets and was like, "So they won again? Like, why didn't they trade Rolo? Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that?" I was like, have you ever played basketball your entire life? I literally asked, have you played basketball ever?
Or any sport.
Or any sport. Get off your fucking computer and chill. It's not that. It's a game. Relax.
Not just that. These are the other guys. This is the last thing I say, and I'm gonna wrap it up. The guys that you are asking to just go and blindly lose a bunch of fucking games are competitors as well.
They're not going to do that, man.
And they're not just going to lay down because the Bull. I mean, you're asking the guys, like, it goes back to the process thing, right? You're asking these guys to lay down to help a team get better for a team that they're probably not even going to be on.
I mean, to be quite honest, I want guys like Dunn to show something and be the guy that we want him to be. Like we want him to be good, right? Like, do we want the person that they end up picking top 5 or whatever? Do you want that to be the leader, or a guy that's been in the league that's shown that he can play in the league to show that, all right, I'm the man, this is my squad, we're gonna get it going next season. But like I don't know.
Like you look at the 76ers, and I think the only person that's still left from that team of losers is Robert Covington. Like nobody else is on that team.
A lot of that too with them is that a lot of those dudes were hurt and weren't playing anyway.
Yeah, and like I said again, those are guys that were losing on the team. That now that the team is better, they are no longer on that team.
And all the dudes that was hurt are now starting.
So
our dudes are hurt, so they got to play.
Yeah,
the,
they got to
the
play him.
Bulls bloggers that were talking all that about how much we're not losing, they do know we've only had 4 games or 3 games where Laurie, Chris, and Zach have all been on the floor at the same time. Wait till they get back on the floor at the same time. Trust me, they're gonna shit.
They're going to win a hell of a lot more games, and then what? Whatever, man. This has been the According to Sources podcast. I'm glad you guys have joined us. You know where to find us. It's accordingtosources@gmail.com if you have questions. It is A2Sources on Twitter if you want to argue with me and Chris and Devin and Rob on Twitter. You can hit the thread up as well. It is According to Sources on Facebook. And it is, I think that's about it. I think there's a Twitch page now that somebody started up for some odd reason. If you want to see people talking about stuff on Twitch or playing video games on Twitch, I guess if you're into that type of thing. There's a Twitch page you can follow. That's According to Sources. And that's it, man. Thanks for joining us. For Rob, Chris, Devin, wherever his light-skinned ass is at. I'm Dre. This has been According to Sources. We out. Peace.
We like you fat.
And you suck.